Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the iPhone 14 and compare it against the iPhone SE 2020 model and see which specific phone you should go and pick up and or if you should go and upgrade. Now, links will be down in the description. If you want to pick any of these phones, links will be down there. You can get them from there, help support the channel at the same time as always. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell there are some key differences for sure. The iPhone SE 2 on the front had a 4.7-inch IPS panel, and it wasn't really a bad panel. It's just kind of an outdated design. You have a lot of bezel on the top, quite a bit of bezel on the bottom, the home button right here. I think Apple could have done a little bit of a better job at this point. They especially could have done a better job with the iPhone SE 3. But regardless, not an ugly phone, and I still think it looks fairly okay for it being a 2020 phone. I mean, I feel like Apple could have done better, but definitely not an ugly panel. But it's definitely a dated design when it comes down to it. The iPhone 14, on the other hand, we have a much bigger 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, the screen is better. You're getting obviously way less bezel around it compared to the iPhone SE 2. You're also getting the notch up top, which is so nice. Well, it's not really nice, but it's still, I think, better than a dynamic island, and it's better than the design on the iPhone SE 2. So the preferred method would be a hole punch display. That's a smaller one, but regardless, better display, higher quality, and just an overall better looking phone in a format that's not like way bigger than the iPhone SE 2. So it's a bigger phone, but it's not like it's not like it's a Pro Max iPhone. Now for the rest of the body, we do have a little bit of an interesting design. So the sides are still kind of curved on the iPhone SE 2. With the iPhone 14, they are flat, so I definitely do prefer the flat design, but I think the iPhone SE 2 still looks pretty good for the most part as well. You have the ringer switches here, you do have the volume buttons right here, and definitely the iPhone SE 2 is a thinner phone and a smaller phone overall. On the bottom, we have lightning ports, speaker grills. We also have a SIM card tray on the iPhone SE 2, where we did not have one on the iPhone 14. So keep that in mind. I don't know why Apple removed it here too. Very, very annoying. On the back, we have dual camera setup on the iPhone 14. But we have a single camera setup on the iPhone SE 2. The last specs on both, these are both the white models of both these phones, but even here you can kind of tell, it's kind of hard to tell over this camera, but you can kind of tell in real life that the Starlight version or the white version of the iPhone SE 2, I think is more white than the white version of the iPhone 14, if that kind of makes any sense. So both of them support wireless charging, both of them have IP certification. The iPhone 14 has MagSafe, has emergency SOS satellite mode, has crash detection, has 5G. I don't know if the iPhone SE 2 had 5G, but regardless, you're getting really good capable phones on both. But it just so happens that the iPhone 14, without a doubt, is a way better phone than the iPhone SE 2, at least from the exterior. Now, for the rest of the body, I will still kind of tell you that the iPhone SE 2, still feels really good. This phone is still going to be supported with software for a long period of time as well. And that is a big thing to keep in mind. With a phone like the iPhone SE 2, although it looks dated, it definitely isn't, it has the same chipset for the most part as the iPhone 11. So this thing, is still going to be a very good supported phone. I look at the iPhone 11, I look at the 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, those phones are still going to be around for many, many more years. So this one is still going to be, sticking around as well. It just so happens though that the iPhone 14 overall is definitely going to be the phone that's going to be lasting a much longer period of time. So personally, I love seeing those kinds of things, and you're definitely going to be getting a longer lasting phone from an iPhone 14 than an iPhone SE 2. So now let's go into a speed comparison between both these devices. The iPhone 14 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone SE 2, on the other hand, has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, there you go. Let's go and hop out of the apps in the background. They are cleared out, so let us get into it. Phone calls, 3, 2, 1. Both are very, very close. Let's go and get into, let's do app stores, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 14 is faster. The iPhone SE 2, a little bit behind. Scrolling through, again, they're both at 60 Hz displays. For some reason, the iPhone SE 2 didn't want to load there. So you can kind of see, at least in my opinion, I think the iPhone 14 is still the smoother one. Hopping out of these two, mail, 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone SE 2 is faster. Clock, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Hopping out of this, let's go into camera, 3, 2, 1. iPhone SE 2, I think, is the faster one again. Or the iPhone 14, photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. Let's go and hop out of these two. Let's go and get into some of these other third-party apps. Now we have Genshin Impact on both. 3, 2, 1. This is a big, massive game. So this is not a small game by any means. So you're going to be running into like random glitches on some older processors. And with an iPhone SE 2, it's not a like old phone, but the chipset's not old either. It's just the design looks a little bit more older than it should. The iPhone 14 has been loaded for a little bit of time. The iPhone SE 2, definitely showing its age here a little bit. So that will also trickle down to all those other areas of like app opening speeds and everything like that. For example, Facebook 321, iPhone SE2 again is a little bit slower. Twitter 321. Okay, again, slower on the iPhone SE2, but it's expected. Stack 321. And I don't want to give the impression that the iPhone SE2 is like the slowest phone of all time. That's not really quite the case. As you can see, let's go and hop out of this one. Let's go and get into Snake vs. Blocks 321. There we go. And definitely when it kind of comes down to it, a little glitchy on the iPhone SE2 when it comes down to it, but the 14 is still very, very good. Such a fast phone. Netflix 321. Oh, I almost messed that up. 321 again. But I will say the iPhone 14 Pro is the faster one when it comes down to it between the 14 and the 14 Pro. But regardless, the 14 is still, handling it very well. Temple Run 2, 321. And again, the iPhone 14 is a faster one. The iPhone SE2 definitely showing its age. So again, the SE2 is not an old phone. It came out in 2020, almost 3 years ago for kind of already in 2023. So I definitely do think when it comes down to these two phones, if you're going from an iPhone SE2 to an iPhone 14, you're definitely going to be getting a speed increase. I don't know if I would necessarily go and, just focus on the speed here, but the camera is another massive, massive difference. You're getting a dual camera setup, wide and ultra wide camera on the iPhone 14. The SE2, you're getting a wide angle lens. So 4K at 60 on the back of both of these, but you're getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back of the 14. iPhone SE2, only 1080p on the front. Now, I don't even think that's that big of an issue, but with the iPhone SE2, you are not getting a super quality. The camera quality is decent. It just so happens that the actual, like everything else about the phone, like the single lens, the 4K at 60 and lack thereof on the iPhone, SE2 on the front, you're not getting cinematic mode. You're not even really getting so many crazy features that even like a kind of a budget tier like Samsung phone would have nowadays. So I definitely do think like the Pixel 6a has more features than this thing, and this thing was more expensive when that thing came out right now. So I definitely do think that this thing, very solid phone for what it is, but the camera just really isn't that great of a quality compared to the iPhone 14. The iPhone 14's camera quality is amazing. I think it's very, very good for especially the price that, well, I would say it's overpriced for what you're paying for it, but it's definitely a good camera. That's something I can't make fun of. 0.5, you have an ultra-wide sensor. You have 5x zoom, which I feel like they could do a little bit better here, but regardless, still a very good camera. You have video mode, so 4K at 60 on the front and the back, like I mentioned. You have cinematic mode, which is like portrait mode for video. Also in video mode, you're getting that action mode now, which is another really cool feature. You have the ability of turning it on and getting like super stabilized video. So that is another really big feature for this type of phone. As always, you're getting the standard photo mode, portrait mode, and all this other stuff. So this is still a very good camera, and it's definitely better than the iPhone SE2. But to kind of wrap up this whole entire video, what I'll definitely tell you is, in my opinion, I think the iPhone 14 is probably one of the better phones you could buy this year, and it definitely is a pretty big upgrade coming from the iPhone 14. You're getting a better display, better build quality, better performance, better cameras. It's a more expensive phone, but for that expense, you're getting a solid phone for sure. Like, it's very good. If you have an iPhone SE2, I would say keep it. I mean, I wouldn't really go for the iPhone 14, but the design of this thing is definitely showing its age. If you have an SE2, the big thing you're going to be getting is that newer design and probably that better camera and better battery life. But you could also go from an iPhone SE2 to an iPhone 13 and still get a massive upgrade. It'd be almost the same exact thing. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.